I'm Daemonxel, and this is your Eve Echoes weekly news update, where we take a deep dive into all the happenings of the week. But first, if you can tag that subscribe button, ring that bell, share, and like the video, then you can stay up to date with everything that this channel has to offer. Now we're going to take a dive into the game news of the week, and we'll be back later, probably on Monday or Tuesday, with the community news. That's our new format as we're rolling out here. So let's just jump right into the first thing, which is the patch notes for this week that just dropped a couple days ago. Now, obviously, we're working up to that big patch that's going to be coming up, the huge balance update. That's not only going to balance ships, but also the pirate regions and anomalies across the universe. And yes, that is my son in the background giving raspberries. So all of you wondering how the little pilot's doing, you can hear he's doing very well. Now, we don't get that much as far as patch notes goes this week. What we do have is the only optimization is they updated the estimated prices based on the successful transactions in the market. We know this happens every week except when dealing with the compressed ore, of course. Now, as far as for the patch notes, that's basically the only thing going on, except that they are bringing back the ship rental project. Now, they do want to go ahead and thank the players for their support. It looks like it was a success, and they are bringing it back for another month. Now, this does raise one specific question and a glaring oversight on the devs. And that is, yes, of course, you get ISK and some insurance points back for the trip records. However, they also offering these Splendid coupons, but the Splendid coupon store is gone. Now, we are addressing this to the devs to find out exactly what they're doing, if they're going to rework this as give out another prize, or if they're going to bring back that coupon store at all. But currently, right now, when you're doing the trips, just hold on to those Splendid coupons, because you know eventually they're going to bring the store back anyway. So even if they don't fix it here, at least you have a jump on the next time the store comes around. Now, on Eve Echoes' Twitter feed, they did bring out a poll, so to speak, of skins, where you can pick your favorite skin from the Hollow Orange skin, the Grimace skin, the Yule Envoy skin, and the Snowfield Adventure skin. Now, if you're not really sure what these are, these were skins that came out in the first year in 2020 when the game launched. That first event they ever had for the Hollow Orange and the Grimace skin. Also currently remembered fondly as the best event they ever ran, because it had something for everyone. It had some PvE elements, and it also had PvP elements. These anomalies would come up, you would fight off the rats, and then there would be boxes at the end that you could open up, and you'd have a chance at prizes as well as other things that were available at the time. Now, of course, the big things would be these active skins, the Grimace skins, which were worth a lot of money, but there was other things too. I don't remember what it was, but the great thing was it brought the community together, either working together in the PvE element, or fighting off pirates trying to steal your boxes at the end, or even just fighting over the anomaly itself. It was the best event that they ever ran. And it was a free event. No more having to spend to get on the leaderboard, or, you know, purchase AUR or Plex to propel the event. This was a premier event, and they've yet to bring it back. They didn't bring it back last year. We're all begging them to bring it back this year. And of course, the Yule skins was just the holiday skin that they brought out around Christmas time. Alright, with that, we're going to move right into the dev Q&A questions. Now, I'm going to cover the ones from last week as well as the up-to-date ones that just dropped today. But let's start off with the dev Q&As from February 16th to February 22. The first question was, do you have any plans to add more filters for the open contract section? It would be useful to have options as a drop-down menu for nanocores, skins, ships, equipment, you know, you name it, you got it. Would you make it easier to, rather than having to type in exactly what you're looking for? And of course, the devs, you know, they have no plans to add any filter options for the contract page at all. Not even in the future, just at all. There's no plans on this, so don't hold your breath. The next question goes out. It says, has there been any thought to allowing corporation citadels to have markets? Settings would be allowed to open the market corporation members, alliance members, or friendlies, that they could also function as ITCs, and allow alliance members to fulfill daily delivery contracts to and from other ITCs and corporation citadels. Now, they do answer this by saying currently they're having the Corporation Citadel as a marketplace is not in their plan. They are focusing on developing the Corporation mission system for now to further increase interaction and item circulation within Corporation. So that is good that we are getting some PvE mission running, I guess, in some form of Corp. We don't know anything about it. They haven't given us any details, but this is a huge argument to say this would kind of help the economy out. Because currently, in EVE Online, there are 4 major trade centers, same as EVE Echoes. However, in EVE Echoes, we only use one, and barely use the second one, except when they give that free tax break. And that is Jita, the second one being Amar for the tax breaks. One in Galante space called Dodixie, and there's one in Mimitar space, which no one ever goes to, so we're not going to talk about that one. But yes, allowing a corporation or an alliance to open up a marketplace would be ideal, especially in this drought right now, because currently, and we've discussed this in the insurance video, it's not worth it to build a ship and transport it to Jita. It would just be easier to, say, open up the ITC and throw it up in the market instead of having to deliver it to an NPC station in your nullsec region. Instead of going the secondary route by using Discord links or throwing up contracts, hoping that someone's going to spot it, you won't have to advertise it. It would just make it a lot easier to just do everything right when you do it. In other words, if I have a Citadel where I'm building an Armada to sell, it would be easier just to sell it from where I'm building it instead of having to transport it, especially since the devs have no plans whatsoever to bring in jump freighters. Alright, let's move right on to the next question, which is, are there any plans during the May update to rework the Dead Space module system, as currently very few people bother using these modules due to cost or bonus reward ratio? Could either the manufacturing cost be reduced, chance of success increased, or the stats of the module reworked? The answer to that is the reverse engineering upgrade of the Dead Space modules is already in the plan. It is expected to be released in early April. At that time, we will further adjust the stats to improve the cost-performance ratio of BA X-type Dead Space modules, which is great to know that we have all this stuff coming next month in April. That's one of the big patches, and of course, the balance patch coming in May. So it is a bright horizon, but currently, I would have to agree on the manufacturing cost, and it's not just for these modules, it's basically for everything in EVE Echoes. The ISK sync to just push a button to build it is something that industrialists have been complaining for a while. Just up the minerals and PI that is used, and lower the cost of ISK for that button press. Currently, right now, just to build a, say, let's go with a carrier, right? Each of these pieces that you have to make, say like 40 different little sub pieces to make the carrier itself. Now, each one of these requires a blueprint, which you just bought for 30 million, and the button press on each of these is 150 million. So that's 150 million times 40. But when you have all these little pieces, the drone maintenance bays and the capital arrays, all these things built, and you're ready to push the button for the carrier itself, it's still another 2 billion just to press the button. Whereas if you go into the system itself and you look at the the PI used and the mineral used, it's really a relatively small amount. And that's across the board on everything. Building anything in this game costs too much ISK, and there's really no wiggle room for profit margins. But I am excited to see exactly how they're going to rework this, so that we can see maybe more BA and X types, because I hear horror stories of people trying to go for an A type or an X type, and they don't want to roll the dice because the risk is too high versus the reward gained. Alright, next, to finish us off for the 216 to 222 questions, the Concord patch shop has been static for the past 3 runs. Can we expect updates soon, i.e. nanocores for the missing ships or other events prioritized? And the answer from the devs are, we are gradually improving the range of ships for the nanocores sold in the Concord patch shop. We will also add defense nanocore upgrade materials to the shop in the near future. So, Yeah, they are going to be updating, but I will not expect anything completely wild. It's going to be basically the same things in and out. However, now I have seen some of the old nanocores making their rounds in the Concord shop itself. We have this Clear Sky one, but I'm pretty sure I saw either a Neon Gas or the Ascension Core still in there. It could have been a bug, I don't know, but I do know that they tried to recycle some of the older nanocores back into the rotation. Alright, now let's jump into the fresh developer Q&A questions. Now this is for February 23rd through March 1st. And the first question is, Capsular outposts currently have weak defenses. Can more modules be added, such as lasers, railguns, and cannons, that can also affect damage based on the Capsular owner's combat skills? It's actually a pretty good, nice concept. Current high and medium slots also lack range and good variety for any remote chance at an effective counterattack. Will combat effectiveness of player bosses be adjusted in the future? And the devs get basically a flat on it. At the moment, we would not consider strengthening the defensive side of Capsular outposts. In our design, a Capsular outpost will appear mainly as a production structure rather than a strategic stronghold. Which is true. It's supposed to just be for the player aspect of it. Whatever you're doing in your own outpost to benefit yourself. However, one could argue that the gravity wells benefit the entire core, but you can also solo those too these days. And in my opinion, if you're going to be going for the corp side, you know, make the argument that the Capsular outpost is more for the corp use, well then you have to defend it as a corp, and that's going to bring content to the game. No one, and I hate to say it like this, I don't think Capsular outpost should be like a Death Star, where you single-handedly, in your Capsular outpost, can fend off a fleet of 15 ships attacking you. Now this one's actually a really good question. Is there any forecast of rebalancing the supply chest? Currently, due to the popular meta level 8 modules such as Scanner and Analyzer, only T8 storyline supply chests are popular and other than the others. Considering the difficulty to clear T10 storyline missions, especially after players have scanners for low-sec hunting. It looks like there was more to the question, but it was cut off in the car. However, I do have the actual format of it here. He continues on saying that, you know, let me just start over. Considering the difficulty to clear T10 storyline missions, especially after players have scanners for low-sec hunting, I think the supply chest item list needed to be either adjusted or rebalanced. Do you have any plans to add higher tier modules to the Detective, Guardian, Hunter, or Martyr to adjust the rewards? And the devs give a promising, you know, answer here that we will consider adding new modules to the supply chest for T10 storyline missions. Pilots can only obtain these modules through the 4 supply chests. T8 storyline supply chests, meanwhile, will remain the same. So I like the direction they're going. They're going to be adding new modules in, I guess, a new, you know, tech level. Maybe it'll be like a meta 9 or, you know, something along the, you know, somewhere in between a 9 and a C-type, you know, storyline mission, or maybe it's just a little slightly better or on par of a C-type. But you know, obviously there's no C-type like scanners and stuff like that. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Now, this is the mother of all questions. This is actually really good, and it gives us insight onto where they want to take Eve Echoes in the future. Now, the question was, are there any plans to add battlecruiser ships for missing weapon type? I am a missile drone pilot, and I can't shake the feeling of missing out the use of using large missiles and drones at T8 compared to other weapons. Now, the dev's answer is actually, you know, it gives a little insight. This is what I mean here. They say, we've been considering the battlecruiser with large missile torpedo launchers, and it would be introduced as a Caldari Battlecruiser in the future. But we will not release battlecruisers with large drones anytime soon. In other words, what they're saying, in essence right there, is they're actually going off the ship type that has been laid out in EVE Online, and they're coming out with their own ships. Now, I'm actually excited to see what they come up with. But to say a brand new ship that hasn't been in EVE Online or EVE Echoes in the past that's going to feature these you know, missiles. Now, those who fly with me know I have a huge hate for missiles. I hate missiles. I can't explain. I don't like missiles. But the thought that they are actually going to go this route is actually very intriguing. I mean, because you have the Tornado with, you know, the large strikes. You have the Oracle with the lasers, and you have, the Naga and the Talos with the railgun. So yeah, we could use one with missiles for those people who don't like using, you know, conventional weapons that actually hit alpha and are better than missiles. I hate missiles. I hate missiles so much. But that makes me hopeful that maybe they're going to be coming out with a whole line of new ships that we haven't seen before in either of the games. So there's that. Let's keep an eye on the future and see exactly that. Now, to finish this off on the questions is, do you have any plans to take a look at the maintenance skills, specifically shield and armor operation, and add some sort of effect bonus for shield extenders and armor plates for the balance patch? As it stands now, they're the only fitting in the game that is entirely unaffected by a player's skills in any way. Now, there is a point to this, and the devs actually make the point of saying that the shield extenders and armor plates are emergency modules that can be used for a short period of time by all players, regardless of skill. We want to avoid the emergency modules having a large stat gap on their effects because of the pilot's skills. Now, it's the same for a DCU, right? You pop a DCU, you're going to have, you know, higher resistance across the board. Well, that they treat this the same way with the shield extenders and the plates. It's going to be the same for any pilot that can load that module, regardless of your skill. Whether you're an indie pilot, a PvP pilot, have the points in it or out of it, it's going to be the same regardless. You're going to have the same defense quality, because it is a fine line when you come down to balancing, especially on the balance that they're going to be doing soon, because this balance patch is so important coming up, because we should have gotten it 6 months ago in October. And now this balance patch now, which was the scheduled one for now, has to have at least, you know, 2 balance patches wrapped into one. So they have to draw the line at some of these things, such as these modules. All right, lastly, we're going to cover today is your Plex Market report. Plex has basically stayed the same. You're looking at 2.4 to 2.5 million per Plex, and lucky for me, as I said last week, it didn't come down, and I think it's going to stay around this for a while. Now, you do have people speculating that the price of Plex is going to drop back down to say somewhere around 2 million, 1.8. I don't see it. I honestly don't. I see this being a slow burn going higher. I think in the next couple months we can see Plex prices hitting 3 million per Plex. So if you do see it, like I said, I always say this, if you see something that's a steal, go ahead and steal it. If someone listing their Plex, if you see everything that's going across the board at 2.49 and 2.5, but someone puts Plex up for 2.2, snatch up all that Plex. Snatch it up. Because even if you're not going to use that Plex, you can just turn around and turn a profit on it. And that's going to be your game news for this week. Now, if you need more news in your life, I have 3 different places you can go. That is Sky News. That is Let's Play the Game. That's the Russian premier news outlet. They have a new video out today. Don't worry, all their videos are in subtitles. They have a great production team over there. You also have Rambo's Echoes of New Eden podcast, where they have new topics every single week, where Rambo and his co-host Tyler have great off-the-wall conversations. They bounce ideas back and forth with each other. It's a really good show. And lastly, you have PM Blue's The Blue Bulletin, which is powered by his Discord bot, Auxilus, with all the killed stats across the board. Yes, we need an overall API, but until we do, this is the next best thing. So for me, have a great week, have a great weekend, fly safe, and remember, we're always one vision, one purpose, one front.